Hello, cruising the Kennebec River. The destination today is Bath. We've already covered a trip to Richmond and took the same little 21-foot boat of mine called Easy Rider, and I hosted that one as I'm hosting this one. The only difference is that the other one I did a complete coverage from Gardiner all the way to Richmond and back. Since the trips are identical, we'll only be starting this one from where the split begins, which is at the Kennebec River Bridge. So we will fast forward to the Kennebec River Bridge and take it from there as we go to Bath. Okay, so we're approaching the Kennebec River Bridge. If we went right, we'd head to Richmond like my previous video did. But we're going to make a left, cross over these wakes. There were a lot of wakes out today, and we did a lot of bouncing. And we'll head for the Lovejoy Narrows on our journey to Bath. Okay, off to the right, we'll see that was the way to Richmond there. And now we'll swing back and head off to the left here, and this next segment will lead us into the Lovejoy Narrows. Okay, we're coming up on the Lovejoy Narrows. You see that little rocky place there on the right? That's the island, a little tiny island. We'll show you on the chart in a second. And there's some rocks here on the left we'll see coming up. And then there's a promontory that kind of sticks out over on the right that's pretty shallow. But there's really plenty of space here. And when we get to the bottom of this, there'll be a green buoy, and we'll turn right at that buoy and head out into the open, more open Kennebec River. Okay, at the top there on the left, you can see that little blot of rocks. That's the island. And then just about halfway down, light green is that promontory that's kind of rocky. And at the bottom, you'll see the green buoy. We'll be making a right turn on the left side of it and heading into the open. Okay, as we continue south, you recall when we went to Richmond, we turned south and went on a channel that paralleled the Swan Island on the west side. This is where we exited that channel and then re-entered the Kennebec River, turning back north to head back to Gardiner. But now, instead of heading back, we're going to continue south to Bath. Okay, can you see that little black dot there off the left side of the bow? The port side, shall we say? Little black dot. That's actually a red buoy. On this chart I just put on here, we're going to be passing that, and that's that red buoy at the top of the chart you see. This is a long sweeping turn that'll go under these power lines. You can just see the towers in the distance popping up. And that's what those two dotted lines are, where the two round black circles are toward the bottom of the chart. And we will continue past those, and then there'll be an interesting turn we'll come across. Well, here we are traveling down this big wide body of water. Here's a red buoy on our left we're passing, and just look at that big wide area. It looks so inviting. You want to just go straight down there to the right. You think that's the way to Bath, but wait a minute. All of a sudden we see a green buoy coming up here on the right. Why is there a green buoy we need to pass on the left if the water is all open on the right to go that way? No, we got to make a left turn through this area. And in fact, this turns into a number of interesting turns with all kinds of inlets and byways and islands and stuff that can get very confusing. That's why a GPS is a handy thing to have along this part of the river, as well as a chart if you don't have that. Okay, see that green buoy we just passed on the right? That's the second buoy. It's right in the middle of this turn, down the middle of the chart. We'll be turning right a little bit more and heading down to that red buoy where I'll pick up the dialogue there. there goes that left side red buoy. I'm putting the chart up here. You can see that red buoy at the very top we just passed after finishing the previous turn. We're going to go south along the west side of this island. You can see all those little black X's. Those are all rocky areas you got to watch out for. At the bottom of the island, we're going to make a left, and then head toward a green buoy and then a red buoy that are pretty important because there's a lot of shallow rocky areas around there. Then we'll be making a turn, heading back toward the south again, and there'll be a red buoy and then a series of green. And right at the very bottom, that dark brown, well, that's Bath, and we'll be there. Okay, Bath, finally here. That's the US 1 overpass crossing the Kennebec, and right next to it is the old rail bridge. Bath Iron Works is just beyond the bridge on the right. We'll go by there and check out the ships they're building. But first I want to curve into here and show you a couple of things. There's a park with a public pier where you can stop, and there's a convenient public restroom right there, which would be nice and handy for some. And just a little bit down the stream, not very far, just right next door actually, is a place where you can get gas for the boat. And if you like, stop and have a real nice lunch. And they also have restrooms in there, of course. So this is a great little spot to make a day trip to. Okay, well, that little green covered pavilion there is the first part of the park. And the park extends from there to the right several hundred yards. And we can see this pontoon boat is tied up at the south end of the public pier, and there's several places you can tie up there. If you walk up that ramp and bear to the right, over there behind those trees and not very far is the public restrooms. Very, very handy after an hour of coming down the river from Gardiner or wherever you're coming from. Now coming up here is this little marina. That blue covered building there is the restaurant, and right at the end of this row of boats is a little pier where you can dock, where you can tie up and get gas if you need it. All very handy and very convenient. The only issue with the dock is it's not protected from the Kennebec, so boats roaring by can create a pretty good wake, so be aware. You can get a pretty good rocking to as you're tied up here. Those two yellow mooring lines, those are private, but that little blue boat with the blue top is getting gas, and the one next to it, those are both fuel stops. And behind them, or to the right here, where those boats are tied up, that's where you tie up to go and eat at the restaurant. Okay, now back to the Kennebec and going under these bridges. We're going to go on the other side and we'll check out the various activities that are taking place at the Bath Iron Works. They have several destroyers they're building or refitting, and then they have one leftover stealth destroyer that they built. There were supposed to be 35 of those built, and they ended up only building like 3 or 4 before technology outran them. Anyway, here's the Bath Iron Works on the right. We'll just cruise along and check it out. And then there's some interesting thing beyond it, too. Just as a note, you see that orange buoy, or red, whatever color it is. We're passing by. There's a number of them along here. There's a string of them that say, "Do not come any closer." And they have patrol boats out there. This is a secure area. So enjoy looking and going by. Don't get too close. You'll get very unhappy very quickly. The other interesting thing to find along here in Bath is the Maine Maritime Museum. We're going to be turning in toward it in just a second, and you'll see a number of rather interesting things. For one, they have a very interesting steel structure, which is those flag poles you see there. That represents the size of some of those big merchantman sailing ships that plied these waters many years ago. I'm surprised how big they were. It also has this great museum that's very popular and has a lot of interesting artifacts, and a tour boat that'll show you the culture and sights around the environment here. I haven't been yet, but I plan to go one of these days. It's very interesting, I think. Well, that concludes my little video taking you from Gardiner to Bath. Thank you for watching, and my next video I hope will be to Booth Bay Harbor, and we'll check out some of the sites there. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.